So I actually intended to put up this video much sooner than where it's coming up now, but it's never too late to put up a video in terms of things that interest you. So I'm excited to be doing this particular one. Hi everyone, my name is Rose, also known as T.A. Summers. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is kind of a throwback a little bit. Originally, when I had reached 200 subscribers on the channel, I had posted a poll in terms of a viewer's choice type poll asking what video that subscribers would like to see on the channel. And this was one of the options that was given on that poll way back when. And I decided to do it anyway because I thought it was a fun time. But this particular video is going to be going through at least a part of my collection of either movie tie-in covers or movie novelizations, because I like to collect those types of books, read them, and even watch the movies in terms of things. And we're going to go through a limited selection in this particular video. It's definitely not the only video I'm going to post on this particular topic, but it is a good gauge in terms of how I like to read adaptations of films, in terms of adaptations of screenplays, as well as having movie tie-in covers with my collection depending on the movie. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. So this particular video, I am going to go through this limited selection of both movie novelizations and tie-in covers. We're going to go through and see which ones I have watched in terms of the films themselves and which ones I've read the book for, or it's a combination of both, whether I've both seen the movie and read the novelization. So let's get into it. This is going to be fun. I'm excited. So the first one may be a very familiar movie to all of you, and considering late singer had recently had a birthday, I thought it would be appropriate to feature this particular book and movie in this video. So I have definitely seen the movie for this. I have actually not read this book in terms of the movie adaptation, so I think this is definitely going to be one that I'm excited to read. This is The Bodyguard by Robert Tyne, and this is the novelization of the movie. So this is the same name of the movie with Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner. I have seen the movie, and this is one of the movies that I was not allowed to watch when I was growing up in terms of things. My parents would not let me watch this when it first came out. I could listen to the soundtrack as much as I wanted, but I could not see the movie until much later on after it was released. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to be able to read this in terms of things and give my thoughts on it. So there's that. Next one, I think I talked about on my Twitter thread, and there was going to be a video associated with it on the channel, but unfortunately my SD card got corrupted, so I wasn't able to post that particular video, but I did talk about this on Twitter. This is a movie that I did not see until much later, until after it came out, because it was another movie that my parents would not let me watch when I was younger for very obvious reasons. And I did try to get around it by trying to pick up this book a little bit earlier than what I was going to do. But I think I read like a few select pages in it, and I was like, nah, I'm not ready for this. And so I put it to the side. But this is one that I did end up reading also eventually when the time came in terms of things. And I've seen both the movie and have read the book, but it's been quite some time since I've done so. This is How Stella Got Her Groove Back by Terry McMillan, and this is the movie cover version. I think this was not a this is the movie tie-in cover. This was not a direct novelization of the movie, so that's a distinct difference in terms of things. I am planning on rereading this at some point, and also rewatching the movie for the first time in quite a number of years, so it should be interesting to be able to revisit this and give my thoughts about it. All right, next book is a book that I have both seen the movie for as well as read the book. This is a direct, I believe this may be the novel version of this particular movie. It is the movie tie-in cover. I don't think this was an adaptation of the screenplay of the movie, but still, it's one that I've been wanting to revisit for quite some time. This is Sleeping with the Enemy by Nancy Price. And as you can tell, this is this book was the basis for the movie Sleeping with the Enemy starring Julia Roberts. I had a poll on Twitter which asked whether or not people thought of this as a thriller, horror, or romance. Considering a lot of things, like in terms of things, I've always considered this to be like a thriller, suspense thriller movie, and like people on Twitter did agree. I am actually going to reread this particular book as well as rewatch the movie when I get a chance, but it's been a number of years since I picked it up, so I'm excited to be able to do it. Okay, so this book is probably going to be no surprise in terms of things. I love this particular movie, and I hate the fact that it just like it was a box office bomb in terms of things, in terms of animated movies, so much so that it caused the studio that made it to go bankrupt in terms of things, which I hate because it's so well done for a science fiction movie in terms of the animation, the cast of characters, how well it was done in terms of the time that it was made. I think it was just basically like a movie that was made before its time, because if it were made now, considering how much more reception there has been to animated movies that have an older audience in terms of things, I think it would have been more well received. But this is one that I've watched the movie for multiple times, but I have not read this particular adaptation, and I believe this is a screenplay adaptation of the movie itself. This is Titan AE, and this is one of Don Bluth's films that like I followed for quite some time, and I cited as one of my favorites in terms of things. I just think it really did not get enough love. The soundtrack is dope. The animation was great. I'm excited to be able to read the book for the first time and kind of rewatch the movie and kind of see how similar it is to the book in terms of things, but we shall see how it goes. But yeah, I definitely plan on picking this up and giving my thoughts about it. Next book. Okay, so I've watched the movie multiple times. This is a remake of a classic movie that was done originally starring Audrey Hepburn, but it was remade in the early 90s and features Harrison Ford, Julia Ormond, and Greg Kinnear in the title roles. Like in terms of this particular film, I thought it was wonderfully done. And this particular book is also a novelization of the screenplay. I have watched the movie multiple times. I've read the book multiple times. And this is one that I do plan on rereading and giving a formal review for the channel, as well as rewatching the film, which I did rewatch the film fairly recently, but I did not give any kind of review or reflection of it on the channel. So it should be interesting to kind of do a video on this. This is Sabrina. As you can see, this is the cover here. It's by Deborah Cheel. And I do plan on picking this up probably maybe within the next month or so in terms of revisiting it. It should be interesting to be able to pick it up and kind of give my thoughts about it. And then I would like to watch the original Sabrina as well with Audrey Hepburn. I've watched it before, but it's been a number of years. This was one of my mom's favorite movies in terms of things, and she was the one who actually recommended both the original version of Sabrina as well as the remake to me. I did not pick up the book until much later in terms of things, but I'm glad that I have a copy of it in my collection to be able to pick up and reread. But yeah, I do have a habit of like trying to find book novelizations and tie-in covers and stuff like that that match the movies that I have in my collection as well, especially if I enjoy them. Oh, this book is a throwback. So I don't know of a lot of people who know about this movie. This is one of the quintessential movies that I grew up with in terms of things. I would say that in terms of sci-fi films featuring kids, like with kind of like a like a tech leaning on type things, between this particular movie and Flight of the Navigator, which is a Disney property in terms of things, I watched those particular movies like multiple times, wore out the VHSs for them in terms of things. But I don't know of very many people who actually talk about this particular movie in terms of things, probably because it was made back in, I believe, let me see. I'm guessing it was about 1985. I want to say it was 1985 because that's what the book was adapted as well. But this particular book is about a boy who is a robot. The people who created him did not intend for him to be as advanced as he was, and then they basically go on a mission to try to exterminate him, and it's harrowing to say the least, but also just a really great movie. I really enjoyed the film back when I watched it, and I definitely want to give it a rewatch. I have not read this particular book. This is Daryl, which is adapted by N.H. Kleinbaum, and it's adapted from a screenplay written by David Ambrose, Alan Scott, and Jeffrey Ellis. And this is the cover for it right here. But I truly do not see very many people talking about this movie nowadays. So I definitely plan on giving a review of the book as I read it, as well as rewatching the movie and giving my thoughts about it many years down the line. But I think I've seen probably this film 5 or 6 times in terms of things. I loved it. As I mentioned before, between this movie and Flight of the Navigator, I watched them several times as a kid, and I really enjoyed them. Okay, so this book, the cover is a little bit damaged, which I'm kind of bummed about, but I absolutely love this movie in terms of a fantasy movie. It got an updated adaptation into a TV series on Disney Plus, which was subsequently canceled and subsequently removed, which I'm still bummed about. But the original movie is really well done. I watched it multiple times as a kid as well, but I have not read the book. This is Willow, a novel by Wayland Drew, based on a screenplay by Bob Dolman, and from a story by George Lucas. And this is the cover for it. As you can see, it's a little bit damaged, but I'm excited to be able to read this and give my thoughts about it, and also rewatch the movie after quite some time. And then the last book that I want to feature in this video is one that I've seen the movie for. I have not read the book, but as a kid when I was younger, my parents, I kind of had one of those phases where I basically pick up every movie that features a particular actor or actress and just kind of go through their catalog in terms of things. And one of the actors whose work that I went through as a kid in terms of a lot of the films that they were in was Sidney Poitier, and just a classic actor in so many ways. He passed away fairly recently in terms of the last several years, and really just broke my heart in some ways because I loved so many of his movies. I remember going through watching Lilies of the Field, watching Uptown Saturday Night, watching In the Heat of the Night in the respective trilogy, chronicling Virgil Tibbs and several different cases. Essentially just going through a lot of his films in terms of being able to see them for the first time, and my parents basically telling me here, watch this, watch this, watch this. But this particular film was one that I watched many years ago, and it ended up being one of my favorite films from Sidney Poitier, and I was able to pick up the book adaptation, the book novelization for it. This is I believe that this is an adaptation of the screenplay of the movie. So this is quite a number of years old, actually. I think this was originally published in, 1961. Okay. And the movie was made in 1965. So this is A Patch of Blue by Elizabeth Kata. And as you can see, this is the cover for it right here. I have not read the book for this. I thought I had, but I looked at it and I was just like, is this one that I've actually read? But unfortunately, I have not. And the original novel that this movie was based on was called Be Ready with Bells and Drums. So this is the novelization of the movie. I'm excited to be able to pick it up and give you my thoughts, as well as rewatch the movie for the first time in quite a number of years. So that is it for this particular video. Very, very, very quick video in terms of showcasing at least some of my collection of both movie tie-in cover for novels, as well as screenplay adaptations. But this is not the only video that I'm going to do with respect to this topic, because I have a lot of movie covers, a lot, and it'll be interesting to be able to go through each of them in terms of things and give you my thoughts on both the films and the movies from a fresh perspective. So there's that. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be informed when I post new videos. Thank you again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next video.